Welcome back to the Rhovanion campaign of Wombat, or Wambat as you please. This was the second episode of playing 4th Age Total War Dominion of Men, a mod of Rome Total War Barbarian Invasion. When I left you last time, we had just done everything we could at the end of turn 2, so now we're going to press the end turn button, or end season button, and see. Oh, look, the dwarves have come to us with trade offerings. Well, that's really nice of them. Saves us some effort. I'm not going to just accept that because I always like to try to get money off of people if possible. I'm going to make a counter offer. 10,000 seemed to work well with Rhovanion, so I'm going to go ahead and see how the dwarves like 10,000 as a round number for map information and trade. And they're coming back with 42. Significantly less than what Rhovanion came back with. So we're going to shoot for a lower number when we counter. Let's go with like 6,000, see how they like that. Okay, I'm not going to negotiate any further because I don't want them to get pissed off and not offer me anything, so I'm going to accept that. Oh, not that button. This button. Okay. Got trade rights, and the dwarves are actually one of my better trade partners. Actually, while I have them here, I'm going to see if they're willing to pay me to attack Rhovanion. This is an important part of the game that a lot of people don't know about and don't take much advantage of, but it's a really helpful early game. If factions don't have a bad attitude towards you, they will give you money to attack other factions. And it doesn't seem to really be relevant whether or not they like those other factions, or at least not very relevant. In most cases, if you've got sort of a middling attitude towards a relationship with other factions, and you're not in alliance with them, you can usually ask for 500 safely for each attack. If you were really in a really good alliance or have really high relationship with another faction, like between Rohan and Reunited Kingdom, you can usually ask for a lot more, maybe 1,000, maybe 1,500 for an attack. Another factor is that if you aren't yet at war with the faction you're offering to attack, that multiplies how much a faction is willing to pay you. It's sort of like they're trying to get you into trouble, so it's kind of an extra incentive for them. I'm going to see if they'll go for 500. Usually, yep, they're happy with 500. That's usually a safe bet. One of the things that I found with this type of proposal is that you want to stick with just one faction alignment when you're using it. When you're in the same turn, it might not make a difference, but I found that if you skip between different factions, then next turn you can end up not being able to get that deal with any of them and get kind of sours relations, or it gives other factions a bad attitude with you if you do that particular type of negotiation with a faction of a different alignment. So in this game, since most of the factions are Ways of the West, it's usually to your advantage to stick with Ways of the West if you have a good enough relationship with the Ways of the West factions to have that kind of negotiation work for you. So you'll just have to play around at the beginning of a campaign to see who's willing to do that kind of trade with you. For example, when I played Herod, I found nobody was willing to pay me money to attack any other factions, and this sort of included among the Ways of Darkness. What I'm doing right now is saving. I always save before and after any significant event, and going through a turn is definitely one of those events. So this is my third turn, first save in that turn. Okay, well, as with the last turn, I do like to do my diplomatic moves first. So let's get through it. Oh, let's look at our notices. And doing quite well. Our treasury, our income as well. And you can see these are, if you played other factions, these are pretty low numbers, but the fact is our army is quite cheap to maintain. So we can maintain a positive income, where other factions would struggle with that kind of income just because they have such much higher upkeep. Reunited Kingdom in particular is one of the factions that suffers from really high upkeep and few options in terms of reducing it and maintaining an effective army. So we got some lordships. These are the only two coming to us at the moment. And we finished 3 of these one-turn projects. Let's see, we got the consultation Aragobal. That's going to increase our public order a little bit, which is nice. I can go ahead and... Okay. Now with this faction, in factions where you have a lot more provinces, and especially homeland provinces, it's a good idea to just specialize each province in one direction, financial or military or administrative, whatever happens to be the potentialities. In this campaign, I'm kind of anticipating that I'm actually going to follow both of these, the military and the policy, in my homeland provinces, just because I have so few of them, and that is the only places where I'm going to have good military options, but I also want to be able to build up good populations there to support recruitment, which following financial policy will help with. Now, if you can only get the benefits of one of these policies at a time, even though you will have the infrastructure, for example, if you follow military policy first and build up all the infrastructure that allows, and then switch to financial policy, you won't be able to take advantage of all the military policy that's enabled by the military, or all the military buildings, rather, that are enabled by the military policy building or project while you're following the financial policy. And you will still have to pay the upkeep for that stuff, for all those buildings of the military policy. But you can then switch back at need by destroying your financial policy and building back the military policy, which is at most 2 turns. I think you actually only need to build the consultation policy to activate again the buildings that are enabled by military and financial. I'm not sure how I feel about that. It seems like a bit too exploitive. But at any rate, the first thing I'm going to follow is financial policy. So I'm not looking to... I'm really looking to build up the populations before I start major recruitment efforts. I'm actually having to start major recruitment efforts in those settlements that can support them right off, just because I'll need troops to cover all of my bases on this borderless land. Let's see here. What else we got? We already have something queued up here. He's 970. That's still not as low as he started out with. Let's see here. With any luck, in the next 2 turns, he'll have become attuned. This guy, oh yeah, he's still over 1,000 for an open policy. I'm not sure there's much hope for him to get better than that. Well, we'll see. Okay, and then with recruitment, we've got these hunters. Let's see if he's down to 200 yet. Nope, still 260. He's still at 80, so they're not reduced yet. We'll go ahead and queue up another emissary here, another emissary. We're going to be continuing to make emissaries in as many settlements as we can until we get probably about 30 of them. Will be enough that I'm comfortable with. Definitely 16 to begin with, and then I can reduce production towards other in favor of other things if necessary. Alrighty, so let's see. Remind myself that I already get. That's right. I already demonstrated getting the money for attacking another faction from the dwarves. Let's do our next one. Let me handle this carefully, because right now Dale and North Rune are at war with each other. That's how they start out, which means the dwarves are at war with North Rune too. North Rune actually starts out in kind of a desperate position. They don't have any friends. Rune is culturally similar, but they're also quite predatory, so they can't, Northrune can't really count on them. They're really desperate for friends, so what I might do initially is look to see if I can get an alliance with Northrune. They'll probably be willing to pay for it, and it probably won't cost me anything, because I'm about to get a nice big border with Northrune, and I doubt very much that they will avoid attacking me shortly, especially once Dale has acquired this territory here of the eastern wildlands. Dale is decidedly stronger than Northrune, and Northrune probably won't take the eastern wildlands back unless perhaps it rebels, and then they can get in there and recapture it before Dale does. And in my experience, once Dale has captured this province, Rune gives up on their campaign with Dale and starts looking in other directions, and I'm going to be their other direction, as I will be for Dale as well. But this is significant, I believe, in how I go about my negotiations on this turn. What I want to do is negotiate with everybody else first, and then Northrune last. Because if I ally with Northrune first, that's probably going to negatively affect what I can get out of Dale. Okay, and this guy can just reach the Bjornings, so I'm going to send him to the Bjornings. Yeah, see, I remember where that province is from all my campaigns. Just about reachable from Arab Gobel with an emissary, so let's go ahead and talk to them. I'm going to keep using 10,000 and see how well that does. Ooh. Yeah, the Bjornings are tightwads. That I can attest to. I'm gonna try. Wow, that's so low. I'm gonna try 3,000 and see if they accept that. With the Bjornings are such tightwads, these guys I had a lot of experience with. As the dwarves, they don't really give you a lot of negotiation back and forth. So if I go at them with a little bit too high, they probably won't give me the trade rights this turn. Okay, got 3,000 out of them for that. So that's not shabby. Like that. Okay, who's our next one? Okay, Dale will be next, I think. I was originally thinking to hit Northrune here, and then Dale here. Ooh, I forgot to ask the Bjornings for money to attack Rhovanion. Okay, attack Rhovanion. Give him 500. Come on, you can give me 500. 500? Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Okay, 500. It might seem like small change, but when you're doing several attacks each turn, it really adds up. And that particular source of income diminishes over time. Usually, like between 30 and 60 turns, everybody will stop giving you money to attack people. So you want to take advantage of it early on, and it's really a game changer for getting your infrastructure up and running later in the game. Now I've got an emissary in here, and he'll be able to talk to dwarves. There's a good chance that I will have multiple engagements with Rhovanion this turn, so I want to be able to keep offering or getting money out of these other factions for each attack. And as I mentioned earlier, you want to stick with just one alignment in your campaign for that particular option proposal, and Northrune is not of that alignment. So what I'm going to do is just concentrate on going up here and talking to Dale, getting their trade, and whatever I can get for trade and map agreements there, and for attacking Rhovanion. And then once I've done all of my attacking, I'm going to go back at the end of, probably the end of my turn, and talk to North Rune and see what I can get out of them. And I'll have this emissary here, who should be able to reach that province and do so. Although this guy might have enough movement to just go back and do that, and then I can maybe send that emissary elsewhere. I do need to make contact with Rune and probably a Dunabar fairly early, because those are two factions that I will want to get alliances with early on if possible, so that I can secure my southern borders. Okay. So with Dale, go ahead and ask for trade, map information, and see if they'll go for 10,000. Dale's pretty rich, so they might go for something closer to what Rhovanion was willing to give me. You gotta be kidding me. Dale, you got more money than that. Okay, well, with several factors above, it's like, what, 6 times, 7 times what the Bjornings offered, and they gave me 3,000, so let's see. Let's see if Dale will go for 5,000. You kind of have to get a feel for teasing out what these factions are willing to do. Well, if they're willing to do that much, then they're willing to do 4,000. So let me get 4,000 out of them. Come on, if you close negotiations with me, I'm going to be pissed. Aha! I got my 4,000. And for whatever reason, they don't care to have map information. But I'll bet you that they'll give me money to attack Rhovanion. Alright. Another 500. Okay. So we've done our beginning diplomatic moves. I'm going to save my progress just because this game has been giving me so much trouble during this campaign. I don't want to have to do this commentary over again. Okay. Alright, I'm kind of wishing now I hadn't brought my spy down here. Let me see if I can reveal Nerigzical. I really need to see what's going on up here. I don't want to get ambushed. Shoot. Now I wish I didn't move towards Nerigzical. Okay, well, let's get up here. There's not an army blocking my way. Yeah, so I'm filming this one. I'm recording this one now because I have managed to finally render my first campaign. I haven't uploaded it yet, so I'm still waiting on some equipment so that I can have a stable internet connection and not just waste my time trying to upload stuff and having it fail. But it has been successfully rendered. I ended up having to break it down into little bits just how I had to record that battle scene in small segments, and that's probably how I'm going to do things in future. Just because my system is so poor that you don't want to waste 8 hours of rendering and have it fail at the last half hour, which is what happened to me twice in a row. Okay, let's take a look at this scenario before we go any further. Damn, I really wish I had saved those movement points to get my scout up here closer. That was really a waste of him going down there at all. I didn't reveal anything. What can we see? I can't see anybody. Well, I can at least see that there is a lot of units here. Alright, more than I can bring. more units than I can bring over, and I know their units are going to be better quality than mine. So I wouldn't be able to just siege them. What this? Oh, at least we can see him. We can't. Can we see how many? We can't see how many guys he's got. It doesn't say he's the king. I'm pretty sure it would say faction leader or something like that. He's just a nobleman, so he probably only has maybe 20 guys. I think the last guy I fought was the faction heir, and he had what, I think 26. We're probably looking at 20 of these heavy horsemen here, and only 3 other units. This is something I can definitely wipe out with the forces I have here that I can bring to bear. These forces in here, I'm going to say no. They probably got more halberdiers, more bowmen, and they definitely at least have the faction leader, and I'm guessing he's going to be like 40 or more horsemen. Those heavy horsemen, I don't know that I can take out that size of a unit with my light men, with my light horsemen. So I don't want to fight them in the field. I don't want to fight a stack this big in the field. If I fight them in a settlement battle, I can take out forces this big because you can control the battlefield a lot easier. Not in the field. What I would like to do here is just assault this one stack, and there is a way I can do that. Can't use these guys for it. I don't have enough movement points. But I can use, for example, this understrength mercenary unit. Perfect for the task. All I have to do is take him and besiege this settlement with that one unit. Then I can take the rest of my units and attack this unit from a tile that's not adjacent to the unit I'm besieging with. That will cut off any resupply from Belegant, the reinforcements from Belegant for this Dornian stack. And it'll only cost me keeping this guy out of the battle. He's already under strength, so that's a good trade-off. What can I bring to this battle? I can only bring these horsemen, the guys in this stack. Nobody else can reach. I'll just have to make that work. I don't think that'll be a problem. They've only got... I can probably take out this unit with my combined horsepower early on, and then they'll just have 3 infantry. I think this is definitely doable. Alrighty, now, something to remember if you're taking advantage of those getting paid to attack a faction, is that you can do it for every single attack that you have to make that turn. So I'm going to be filling my obligation on that attack just by besieging Belegant with this one unit. Not even having to do like a real, battle. Now, you remember earlier I showed you on the diplomacy scroll. We'll just maintain our siege there. On the diplomacy scroll, the dwarves showed that I had promised to attack somebody. But now, if we go back to the dwarves, we'll see it's not there anymore. That promise to attack Rhovanion has been fulfilled just by besieging their settlement. Alrighty, and since I've done that, I want to go ahead and see if I can get more money out of them for the next attack. And the next attack is going to be against this unit, this stack. Mixing up my terms. Okay, so we'll get money out of dwarves to attack Rhovanion. 500. Alright, so that's already 1,000 this turn from the dwarves. I'll probably get another 1,000 total from attacking Rhovanion from the Bjornings and then again from Dale. 3,000 extra. Not bad. Okay. Yes. Alright, let's try Dale.
Your Honor, I
Like I say, I could take my emissary and make this proposal to North Rune, and they might go for it. But then next turn, I'd come over to Dale and the Bjornings and the dwarves, and they'd be like, "No dice, we're not paying you anymore." And I don't understand exactly why that particular deal should have that particular proposal should have that effect, because you can establish trade, you can make alliances with these other aligned factions, and it doesn't seem to have that same effect. So I don't know, it's bizarre. But that's been my observation. Okay, so we're ready to go ahead and commence with our attack. These guys, can they reach without running out of movement points? They can. Okay, so we'll go ahead and merge them together. Let's go ahead and save before the assault. You never know what kind of horrible crash to desktops we're going to experience. Okay, and something... Oh yes, something to remember is I need to get these guys up here to be garrison. I don't want these spearmen in front lines. This is going to be losing men unnecessarily, and they do a better job. It'll do me more good being in here as a garrison, and I can send these hunters out where they'll be useful at the front lines. Okay, and
Captain.
I actually don't want to be adding more units to my attacking force that I'm really going to use, and I wouldn't be using those spearmen if I could help it, because I don't want this guy retreating or declining this battle if I can help it. I want to eliminate him. I don't want him to stay outside the settlement and then attack me while I'm trying to besiege it. I want him eliminated. So attacking with just the forces that I'm going to try to use to destroy him is a better policy. Okay. Let's see if there's no mercenaries to hire, so let's attack.
Attack!
Just check the strength ratio here. Damn, it's nearly 1-to-1, despite me having 6 units to his 4. I'm glad I'm getting rid of Rhovanion right away, because they are, obviously, it would be a big headache if I let them build up some stacks to invade my territory. I did run into the crash to desktop at the end of the battle for this battle as well, so this is not my first attempt at the battle. Fortunately, this one does end up saving, which is very nice. So, not fighting this battle 20 times, only fought it, I think, 3 times, 4 times maybe. Okay. So initially I had been, in my first attempt at this battle, I set my men up in the, more towards the north of my staging area, because there's a more considerable slope in my favor on that side, and I wanted to make sure I claimed it if they set up their men on that area. But they end up setting up their men here in this southeastern corner every time, probably because that's the highest ground on their staging area, and that's probably what the AI uses to decide where they set up their men. So I just sent my men up there because it just makes the battle shorter rather than having to walk my men from the north. And I'm again just going to use my general to persuade these bowmen here to come out and expose themselves. You can see it's not the Rhovanion bowmen, but the equivalent of my Rhovanion scouts, or bowmen, or whatever they're called, hunters. And they do look nice in that color, I have to say. Trying to make my approach sacrifice as little high ground as possible. These guys do have a better range than the Rhovanion bowmen, so they're not going to get as far away from their supporting infantry before they start firing at me. Plus, I don't have the advantage of the slope that I had last time that was in my favor. But I do have the advantage that it's going to be easier to take these guys out if I can catch them. I'll show you their stats in a moment here. I need to figure out how to fast forward some of this stuff. There we go. Yeah, so you can see they have considerably lower defensive stats and but a higher. Also, I think they have the bonus against cavalry, but not against large creatures, so there isn't a double whammy there. And you'll see once I get in contact with them that they drop really fast, which is a good lesson to me, not to let my own hunters get into contact with the enemy, because they won't last very long. Alright, so they've gotten to range. I'm going to charge my general at them, and what I'm hoping is that they'll just keep shooting at me and let me run them down, but my hopes failed and they decided to run back. So there wasn't any point in keeping the rest of my cavalry hidden, so I'm running them out. I'm going to take a look and see what their supporting forces are doing. And for some reason, they're running the other direction. I can't see why that would be a good idea. And as you can see, even though I was charging at this unit, I still can't charge them effectively. I stop before I make contact, and it's a really lame feature of the charge, the way charges work in this game. But I had to order my cavalry to run past them in order to get them to run into them and stop them. And they've got a good distance, and you can see how fast they're dropping. They started with 70, they're already down to almost half, and I think they'll be below half by the time this enemy infantry decides, oh, maybe we should do something about all of our archers being slaughtered. Yeah, they come running up. Too late. Yeah, I think they're down. They're going to get down to 25. And didn't have enough time to bring up all of my cavalry. But I got them. Was able to avoid contact with those spearmen who are just murderous on cavalry. And I'm going to do a little fancy footwork and keep running around and making sure I don't make contact with these spearmen and take out these hunters. I'm just going to use... And what I'm doing right there is that the hunters were getting ready to shoot at me. So I charged at them. No intention of going through with the charge, but as long as they had at least one man in their unit possibly exposed to that charge, it made them decide to change position, which stopped them shooting at me. And so that was nice. It also helped convince their own general to engage my cavalry, which will be his last bad decision. And I'm going to use my own general to finish off the hunters, because their arrows will take out my light cavalry. So I want to make sure that if they're shooting at anybody, it's at my bodyguard, who will replenish itself. And also, I'm probably going to take a few more losses in the melee to take them out, and I'd rather have those losses among my bodyguard. I feel confident my general is going to survive that kind of engagement with these light units. Again, I was trying to charge at them to keep them from firing, but because they were wholly behind their infantry here, they weren't intimidated, and they let off some arrows anyway, but I don't think they caused any casualties from them, because they're already down to less than half strength. And I'm feeling confident about this. I'm going to concentrate on setting up the enemy general and get a little more distance between the enemy general and his supporting infantry before I spring the trap with the rest of my cavalry. And go ahead and charge these hunters here. I should be able to eliminate those guys before the enemy spearmen can get in on the fight. I can see at this point that he's following one particular of my horseman units, one on the far left there. So I'm going to use that one to run up behind my other two, and I'm going to have my other two just start charging at him. And with any luck, they'll get a charge bonus in. He won't be charging because he'll be chasing the wrong unit. Yeah, my bodyguard's doing just fine against the hunters there. Already got them charging. And then once he looks like he's in a bad position, I send my third unit back to help finish him off. Let's see. I'm going to get away from these spearmen and activate my own throwing spears, try and finish off these bowmen faster. Oh, you can see how fast the bodyguard just melted under that cavalry charge of light cavalry. Even though these are quite good heavy cavalry, the charge of cavalry and the huge numbers make all the difference. And the general, of course, is not dying nearly as fast as you see. It's just the general, once again, holding out. Let's see, I gotta separate those archers from those infantry in order to finish them off. There's just like a couple of men left. I want to finish them off. There we go, finally got that general. Just in time for the spearmen to catch up with us. I was worried here that I'd lose like 5 or 6 of my light cavalry when they're trying to escape, but I think I only lost 1. Going back to my general, getting their units all mixed up here, trying to see if that's spearmen or archers chasing after me. Get these cavalry. They've done their job in this area. Their next job is just to let these spearmen chase after them as long as they can and get them tired out. Let's see, I'm trying to figure out where the heck the archers are, and they're just all mixed in with those spearmen, so I'm gonna just have to keep running my general around until those spearmen dislodge themselves from the other unit and allow them to be exposed. And keep an eye on my other light cavalry back there, making sure the spearmen are catching up with them. Oh, and now those archers are exposed, so I should be able to. I'm just going to pull my light cavalry away again, and I'll go ahead and get my general charging at these bowmen again. This should be the last charge I have to do. Only 5 men left though. I'll be taken out almost instantly. Once those bowmen are taken out, then what I'm going to be doing, as long as these spearmen continue to chase after my horsemen, is to lead them down into the middle of that bowl at the basically directly forward in the screen right now. I want to get them away from the edge of the field so they can't just give up and retreat. I don't want them retreating to some other area and me not being able to eliminate them this turn. I want them all dead today. Okay, so those huntsmen are dead, and now we're just moving all of our cavalry back. And once I get them fairly close to that area, then I'll run my ranged units forward and start taking them out. And one of the things I'm doing here is just using short bursts of speed. I don't want to have my cavalry just flat out run all the way, because sometimes if you do that, the pursuing infantry unit will give up the chase and then just decide to do something else, like walk off the field, which I definitely don't want them to do right now. My ranged units are too far away to catch them at this point. I need them up near that bunch of trees that I'm leading them towards. Yeah, it takes a bit of micromanagement making sure to keep that balance, but at this point I think they're well enough in position that I can send my ranged units out of hiding and get them in position. Okay, I'm just going to run my general at this point. I don't want them to get too far out of the position I want them in, so I'm setting my general. This is annoying. When that pause button's up there, it really makes it difficult if you want to place your unit where the pause button is. You gotta move the screen around. And, oh, that took me so long, I had to run. Oh, look at my ranged units are already in a good position. And I got my general throwing spears, whatever spears he has left, into their backs. And get these archers a bit further down so they're not hitting my own men. And there we go. They're gonna lose a lot of men right away. Unfortunately, I'm shooting at their shield side and trying to reposition so that they expose their shield side, but I think at this point what they actually have done is decided they're not going to win this battle, and they're now starting to march off the field. So I'm targeting this group that's farther away. So I want to try to work on that group first, since he's the one who's going to get close to the edge first. I also don't want to hit my general in the back with slings, so I'm going to move him to target this nearer group. And send my cavalry up here so they can intimidate these units and help them break faster. I didn't quite realize how close they were to the edge of the map already at this point. moving quite well. Of course, I've got it on triple speed all the time, so things are moving fast. Anything like really close to the edge, I decided at this point I just need to charge him if he's going to not make that edge and start shooting the other unit. Unfortunately, he breaks right away once he sees they're charging, so I didn't lose any units, any min on account of that decision. And then I'll just run down these last units here. That last unit con, job done, as some of my associates say. Alright, heroic victory, which is always nice to see. And as you can see, I lost just one from each of my scouts. Looks like I lost one man and lost some bodyguard, but that doesn't really matter. Oh, now I can't tell you how relieved I was when this actually successfully loaded and I got to the end. That was sweet. It's very frustrating to go through all that only to have it not work. Alright, so that stack is gone. We are stuck here, because in doing that attack we moved into the zone of control of Belegant. Even though they're under siege, they still have a zone of control, so I won't be able to move my units further. Let me go ahead and save after that battle. Yeah, I'm having this issue with the crashing the desktop at the end of the battle. I played over 100 turns of the Elf campaign in the current mod release, 170 turns in a Dwarven campaign, 25 turns in a Herod campaign before doing this Rhovanion campaign. 0 issues of this crashing the desktop at the end of a battle, and now I'm getting it consecutively in my first 2 battles, which is not looking good. What I ended up having to do is basically go back to my save point before the battle and then create 9 save points, just taking 1 step towards the enemy, and well, that's what I did. I'm not sure if that helped, but before then it was crashing the desktop every time. I couldn't get back past the battle. Anyway, unfortunately I do end up getting stuck here, even though this settlement is being besieged. They do exert a zone of control, so I basically have 2 options here. I can't leave this stack continuing to besiege Belegant, because what will happen there is they'll just sally out to fight that unit, and of course they'll win. In fact, I don't know that I can even place this place Belegant under siege without the siege getting broken, just because their units are stronger than me. I mean, you saw in the battle, even though I had significantly more units, 5 against their 4, the balance of power was still 1 to 1, and visually it looked a little bit in their favor, actually. So they have very powerful units compared to mine, and if I besiege this settlement with the units I have now, they're definitely going to sally out and attack. Ideally, my position right now would be that I could besiege Belegant and attack next turn. In my current position, that's not going to happen. I don't have enough forces in the area, but the second best thing would be that I could besiege Belegant. They would sally and break my siege, but I could take some of them out during that sally before retreating with my ranged and possibly even with my cavalry. That isn't going to happen either, because I'm in a corner. I'm in the northwest corner from Belegant. So if I lay siege to them and they sally, my troops are going to be placed on one of the cardinal approaches to Belegant, one of their gates. They don't have gates in the corners, only in cardinal directions, which means my units would then have to march way off into the far corner to escape being wiped out by Rhovanion's units. and there's a very decent chance not all of my units will be able to escape, and I can't really afford to have units destroyed that way at this point. So I won't be able to do that either. In fact, I think all I'm going to be left with is just lifting the siege on Belegant and seeing if they decide to come out and attack me in a field battle. And if they do, I should just be able to retreat from the field battle back to my own territory, and they probably won't have sufficient movement points to come out and get me. I might even, if they attack, yes, no, so, but yeah, I think that's pretty much all I'll be able to do. But I've got lots of units coming up from behind that I think it'll be okay. So, because next turn I'll have enough units in the area that I can really hope to take on Rhovanion regardless. It's just unfortunate because I can't stop them from making another unit in Belegant, which ideally what I would want to do, but I can't do that anyway. I don't have enough units to besiege them for an entire turn without them breaking the siege. They would definitely do that, no matter what I did. So, let's see. Go. Why this isn't a better option. Pathfinding is sometimes very perplexing to me. For some reason, this is better than going up here. Okay.
Yes, Captain. Onward.
Progress. Should have another one of these guys.
Yes, Captain.
Good.
Forward. Moves completed, sir.
King still has plenty of movement, so I can check to see if there are any more. This particular, the Brownlands gets a lot of mercenaries spawning there. Just because they've got so many different types that do so.
March.
So it's worth checking even every turn if you can to see if they've got any nope, no mercenaries this turn. Go back in.
Onward.
And I think I've approached everything I can do in this turn. Let's go ahead and check. It's always good to check these tabs, see if anybody has leftover movement
Can I
points.
be of service?
Unfortunately, I can't attack Rhovanion anymore, so I won't be asking for any more money from attacks.
Sir.
But I do need to talk to North Rune.
Yes.
I've already moved my spy, so it looks like all I need to do is talk to North Rune.
Noble master.
Let me go ahead and save. I always like to save before and after everything. Go. Oh, I gotta move this guy. I'll scrap at that. That's the army tab. Should always be checked.
Captain.
Oh, we've got more guys to move. Okay. Because we've still got another unit of bowmen in Rhovanion. So, move this fellow
Captain.
there.
Out of move, sir.
This fellow here.
Moves depleted, sir.
Okay. I'll go ahead and save again at that same point. And send my agent. Well, let's see, can he reach there? He can reach there. So I can actually use this unit
Awaiting your command.
and send him down here. Yeah, that's a good idea. Let's do that. Let's do that after we talk to North Rune.
Can I be of service?
Hey, North Rune.
I shall speak with
Can we be friends? Let's see what they're interested in. They want trade rights and map information, which is decent enough. What if, instead of map information, you give me tons of money? What do you think? Their demands? Oh, wow. They have learned a sense of humor. Well, I'm always, you gotta be fucking kidding. What about an alliance? Would you pay for an alliance? Would you do that much? North Rune, I was expecting more out of you. Oh, they'll give me money. Look at that, they'll give me money. Oh, that's good. Okay, well, that's better than nothing. You know what? Let's see if they'll give me more money. I'm willing to play around with them because they don't have any friends. They need to take what they can get. Let's see if they'll go for 6. Let's see if they'll go for 5. Give me that money. Oh, that's as much as you're gonna do? You guys are cheap. Well, they have a really bad economy, so that's probably as much as I can hope to get out of them. I got a nice little alliance. Should improve my diplomatic leverage, make me more attractive as a partner in alliances. Potentially, especially with Rune, I want to get that alliance with Rune, which is why it's a good thing. I can move this diplomat southwards towards Rune. How far can you get? Right there looks like a good distance.
Honor. Move
Right.
depleted, sir.
Yeah, that is the true end of the turn. Make another save point. Alright, folks, I will call this the end of this episode. You got to have a good battle, and made a little progress. Well, that was a considerably smoother second episode. I look forward to producing the third one, and please do like, subscribe, and comment. I'm happy to answer questions or provide advice or clarifications, and thank you very much for watching.